In this lesson, we are going to talk about the first normal form, 1NF. Basically, normalization is a two-step process. First step is to remove the repeating groups and putting the data into a tabular form. Second step is the deduping process. Deduping means removing the duplicated data into a separate table or separate tables. Here, we are going to use employee qualifications form as an example. Let's say you receive this form and you're asked to store this form into a database. The first step is to take this form and put it in a tabular format. By looking at the form, you will see that employee number, employee name, department number, department name, and department location are non-repeating groups, so they can simply have their own columns into your tabular format. How about qualifications? If you look at qualifications, you will see that each employee might have multiple qualifications. In this case, our employee has Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts, and Doctor of Philosophy. How can we store this into a tabular format? In order to do that, we will take each of these items and create a separate sets of columns for those items. For example, we will add two columns to our tabular form and call it qualification 1 description and qualification 1 year, and store the first item into these columns. We will do the same thing for the second group, and we will do this exact same thing for the third items. So now our form is in a tabular format. The tabular form has employee number, employee name, department number, department name, department location, qualification description, qualification 1 year, qualification 2 description, qualification 2 year, qualification 3 description, and qualification 3 year. By looking at the tabular form, you will see that we are still seeing repeating groups. Basically, qualification 1, qualification 2, and qualification 3, they all contain the data which is in the same nature. And the same thing for qualification 1 year, qualification 2 year, and qualification 3 year. So although our form is in a tabular format, but it is not normalized yet. In our tabular form, employee number is the primary key, because by having the employee number, you can still retrieve all the information and all the qualifications for that employee. How can we normalize this table to the first normal form? Basically, a table is in first normal form if and only if all columns contain only atomic values. It means that each column can have only one value for each row in the table. By looking at this example, you will see that right now in each row we have 3 different qualifications. So in order to normalize this table to the first normal form, we need to make sure that all qualifications are stored as rows instead of columns into our table. How can we do that? In order to normalize this table to the first normal form, we create a new table and add all the non-repeating groups as columns into our new table. As you see, employee number, employee name, department number, department name, and department location are stored into our new table as columns. To store the repeating groups into the final table, we will take the first set of repeating groups, which is qualification 1 description and qualification 1 year, and store them as columns into the table. For the second set of repeating groups, we will duplicate the non-repeating groups in our final table and add those two values as a new row into the table. We will do the same thing for the third set of repeating groups. So right now, if you look at the final result, you will see that each set in the repeating groups is stored as a new row instead of a new column. In our tabular form, employee number was the primary key because employee number could uniquely identify every row in the table. However, in the final result, employee number cannot be the primary key because the value of employee number is not unique anymore. So in order to find the primary key in the final result, we have to look at all columns and find a composite primary key for this table. By looking at this table, you will see that the combination of employee number and qualification can be a composite primary key for this table. Is this table in first normal form yet? Yes, the table is now in first normal form.